Hi guys, welcome to Skribblenook podcast. I'm Poonam,
I'm Vibha.
And I'm
Hi.
Adarsh.
and each week we explore different aspects of being a creative and maybe discover something new in the process. And today we have our guest Anush Singh, who is a concept artist and a comic illustrator, and he is from Delhi.
Hi Anush, great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here, guys. Thank you so much.
So, welcome, Anush. Welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you here. And I was just looking at some of your art on LinkedIn. So, it was really cool to see some of the fan art that you have done. So,
Wow.
really love the style and everything. So, can you
Thank you.
just take us through how you got into art? Like, it could start maybe at the beginning,
Okay.
childhood or something.
Sure.
Also, a little bit intro about yourself, where you're from, and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me first introduce myself. My name is Anush Singh and I'm from Delhi. And मेरे को इस industry में काम करते हुए it's been so I can do both in English and Hindi, right?
Yeah.
English.
English would be
English चल रहा था.
preferable, but yeah, थोड़ा हिंदी भी
हाँ.
चलेगा.
Cool.
Mostly English.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been working in the art industry for over 10 years now. And I live in Delhi. And my forte includes character designs, illustrations, fan art, uh, and a little bit of game art as well. And yeah, that is pretty much about me. And now that you asked that how I got into art, so as a child, I was always drawing, and I was really fascinated by the comics. So at that point of time, the comics that I used to read were Nagraj, Doga, Bhedia, and the stuff, the Indian comics that were being produced at that time. And so gradually I graduated to Marvel and DC. And the story behind how I started drawing was that in those comics there were monthly competitions where we were asked to send the artworks, like fresh artworks of our own imagination, to be sent. And if we win in those competitions, we'll be given some sort of Superman miniature or something of that sort. So that was like really inspiring for me. And though I never won, but yeah, it actually got me into the habit of drawing. And then I started copying the comic book covers, and I was really fascinated with the how coloring and different poses and dynamic poses were being done in those comics. And yeah, so after that, after 12th, I got into engineering and stopped drawing actually. And but in third year of college, I realized that engineering is just not my thing. And so I started drawing again. And then I told my parents that I don't think I want to be an engineer. So I came back to Delhi, and then I took up a course in animation. It was a 3-year course. I did my specialization in modeling and texturing. And but my first love was always creating 2D art, like line arts and coloring on Photoshop and everything. So even though my specialization was in modeling and texturing, I never really worked on that. And ever since then, I started working, and I've been working as a concept artist and an illustrator.
Great. So did you manage to finish the engineering wala part, or did you just leave it?
No, I quit in third year. There was just no point since I was not
That's
going to
what I
work
was
as an
going to ask.
engineer at all. Yeah, I just quit.
Yeah, because that's
Still,
a
like
difficult
it
thing
takes
to do.
guts. Yeah,
Yeah,
third year that also,
because
and
Yeah.
my
like telling
parents would be like,
parents.
कि यार खत्म कर दे इतना किया है तो. So it's like that.
So even my parents were like, "Ki khatam karo isko if you started
Yeah.
it." But then I realized, what is the point of having a degree if I don't really want to work in it? I
Very
would never want to be an engineer. I mean, I would be the worst engineer ever, worst. So just no point being an engineer.
yeah, good call, good call. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
how
and
did you?
like for the
Yeah.
course, did anyone recommend you like to go into that texturing modeling, or like how do you come about for that?
Actually, the thing is, I am talking about way back in 2009-10, right? So
Hmm.
back then there wasn't so much of social media, and we have had limited information about things. Even the internet wasn't as fast as it is now. So, with the limited information and the limited resources that I had, I found an institute nearby. It is a local institute, nothing really fancy or very good. But yeah, it was affiliated to IGNOU. So I did my graduation in animation from there. It was a 3-year course, and yeah, that was it.
So IGNOU offers actually a very different variety of courses I have seen. So is like the accreditation, like is it useful or like it's just a tag?
It's just a tag. To be very honest, I think in art industry, no one really bothers about your qualification,
Yeah.
because most of the people are really concerned here are with your art skills and your communication skills. Art skills because obviously you need to work,
Mm.
you need to be good at your work, and communication skills obviously because you need to be able to understand the brief, and the communication between you and the client or whoever you are working with has to be crystal clear. So
Mm.
yeah, that is what I feel, that art skills and communication skills are the most important things in this industry.
Like you can educate someone, but you cannot, teach them how to creatively execute a project. That is something inherent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, like, like for the listeners who are, listening for the first time, so tell us a bit about what is concept art. Like, what do you do as a concept artist? What kind of, skills one needs as a concept artist, since you have worked as.
Okay. So concept art basically comprises of three major things. First is character design, that is like character concept art. Then there is backgrounds, and then there are props which include vehicles and other stuff, right? So obviously for getting into concept art, I think your drawing skills have to be really good. Your understanding of forms, your understanding of perspective, your understanding of how a 2D drawing basically fills the volume on that space. So you have to be very thorough with that understanding, because at times you'll need to draw a same object from different angles. So you need to be very thorough with the understanding of that, how that object actually occupies space, right? And so that's about the drawing skills. And in concept art, majorly concept art is basically creating anything from scratch which doesn't really exist before, right? So for that, initial concept art is done through sketches, and after sketches there's the colors are added, and after the colors are added, it entirely depends on whether you're working for a 2D output or a 3D output. For a 2D output, the rendering process of that concept could be different, and for a 3D production pipeline that you might be working for, the rendering could be entirely different. So yeah, that entirely depends on the kind of project that you're working on. But yes, concept art is all about taking inspiration from different objects, like taking references, a lot of references, and basically mixing and matching, and the resources in a very aesthetic way, so that the final output basically comes out to be uh, suited to the project and looks aesthetic.
Okay. So,
Right.
like,
So, like, yeah,
yeah.
I want to know how did you come about, knowing all this, since you said you were doing engineering before, and then you got into animation course. So, like, where did the, concept art knowledge come to you?
Concept art knowledge, to be very honest, I think it came initially when I wanted to make my showreel for 3D modeling and texturing and sculpting.
Oh,
So my showreel majorly consisted of organic models. right? For those organic models, I had to create a character sheet to create those models. So those character sheet consisted of the initial design, then there was front, side, and back view to be used in 3D modeling. So there I realized the importance of being good at 2D sketching and concept art. So, but that was just the beginning. And to be very honest, I think when I got my first job offer, I wasn't really sure what I'm going to do there. But yes, I was very confident that whatever it might be, if it is related to sketching and concept art, I can very well learn that. And that is actually what happened. I learned a lot of things after actually getting the job.
So, like, did you learn it from your seniors, or was it like some online course that you did on the side?
There were a lot of things that actually helped me learn. There were seniors as well. Then there were resources on the internet. Then, there's this saying, need is the mother of creation. So,
Yeah.
when I actually needed to learn a certain things, there a lot of research went into it, and I used to go through different, artists who've been doing this work and different resources on the internet. So, I think a lot of things actually came together for me to finally have this clarity of knowledge about concept art.
Right. And any inspiration, like something inspired you. I think you already covered that uh, roughly when you said that you were, applying for competitions and all. So, like,
Yeah,
what
I
did,
mean,
like, lit up the fire in you?
I think as a kid, I have always been a huge fan of superheroes.
Right.
Right, and I just love the way the entire comic world has been created around them, including Marvel, DC, and Indian comics, and how those characters have been created in such a way that we all can connect with them, and uh, that really inspires me. That really, I mean, looking at those fabulous artworks, and that actually ignited the spark in me that if someone is creating this artwork, I should be able to do that as well. I want to be, I want to create such beautiful artworks.
Right. I think all of us had a little bit of a similar experience. Like, we see something, we find it very exciting, and then we realize that it can actually be a job, like a full-time job. And then,
Exactly.
it just comes naturally.
Yes,
How
absolutely.
from an animation to to 2D concept art? How did you make the switch to that?
I never really made the switch, to be very honest. I had been, like I said, I had been drawing throughout my animation course. And back then, there was no course in concept art as such.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But yeah, more than the 3D modeling and sculpting and texturing, I think I thoroughly enjoyed the 2D creation of art, like line art and coloring it and rendering it.
Mhm.
So, when after graduating from animation college, and when I actually had to give it a thought that what do I want to work in, I thought even though I kind of enjoyed the 3D modeling and texturing part as well, but to be very honest, I think 2D art will always be my first love. So, yeah, I went with it.
It's a lot more organic, I feel. I've tried some 3D softwares, but never got used to them.
Even I feel so. Even I feel so. It's sort of organic.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Poonam,
on
what do you?
LinkedIn,
Yeah.
yeah. So on LinkedIn, you are posting like daily sketches, studies, and all that. So is it a routine of yours to do daily study or something? Like in recent days, you like what is your learning schedule? Like as an artist, we are always learning and upskilling and doing a practice. So what is your schedule like for that? And also like if you recommend anything like to practice.
Yeah, some practices.
Okay. Regarding this, I think we all know that saying, practice makes a man perfect. But that is not entirely true. Smart practice makes a man perfect. You got to learn something new and apply that into your existing skill set. And when you come with something new, that is actually improvement. Right. So it's been 10 years, and I think I'm still learning a lot. There's a lot to learn in this art industry, and I mean, I always go through all the veterans in this art industry. I go through their artworks and I see what is missing in my artworks. I try and incorporate that in my artworks, and that is actually my learning process. The agenda for me is to learn, even if a tiny bit, but to learn something new every day and incorporate that in my artworks.
Great,
And
great.
for me, major inspirations are in illustration and concept art industry. For me, are Patrick Brown and Hardy Fowler.
Hmm.
And obviously Mukesh Singh. These three people inspire me like anything, and they're really, really amazing in what they do.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yes, I
so
know a few names from that.
I'll have to
Also,
check
like
out of
you didn't tell us like what is your schedule like for practice, like schedule. Also, you
Yeah, like
go to
work
cafe and
day.
all, I guess. So, do you do live sketching studies, something like that?
Uh, I I used to do a lot of live sketches, but I'm not doing that anymore. Because earlier I used to travel a lot, but it's been a while since I've been working from home, and don't really get to travel that much. Now, on the weekends, however, I go to certain cafes and try and sit there and sketch people at times, but not really happening on a very regular basis. And other than that, my practice schedule is not really as such like practicing something very diligently, like practice. It's more like I like creating new artworks. I like experimenting with styles. I like experimenting with colors. And like I said, I always try to learn something new, incorporate it in my artwork, and that eventually becomes the practice that I do. Yeah.
that's great. So
Yeah, like your practice sketches seem a bit deliberate, like you are doing deliberate studies. So I asked that question.
yeah,
Because even in the medieval era when the painters were actually doing the paintings, so for someone who was new to painting, he was always told to replicate the artworks of the masters of paintings
Hmm.
back then, right? So that is how you actually get to realize that, okay, these colors are being used here because that creates a contrast, okay, and this is the
Yeah,
composition. And so there are a lot of things. It's not like
yeah, I was
you're
like,
something
mm,
upfront in your face that you're learning, but subconsciously you're learning a lot.
yeah, I was going to say that, like, as if you are learning from DC Marvel comics, the composition and color palette, because in your work, Adarsh only said, like, is he working for DC or Marvel on the side
yeah, I
also?
can see the
No, no,
influence.
it's just I'm glad that you found my work. I hope DC and Marvel listens to this, but yeah, I absolutely enjoy their artworks, and their artworks are a huge inspiration for me. And I would certainly would love to work with DC and Marvel someday for sure.
Still reading the comics, like the new ones, or
Yes, I still read comics. I heavily invest on comics.
oh,
Yeah, comics, graphic novels. Uh, I just, I'm a big comic fan. I'm like a big Superman nerd.
great. We
So,
should
like,
meet
you believe,
someday at Comic Con or something.
yeah.
Yeah, Comic Con. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yeah, Comic Con is around the corner. I'll surely be
yeah.
visiting there. I've been
You're
visiting
visiting
Comic
Mumbai?
Con for, sorry?
You're visiting Mumbai or in Delhi? It's
No, no, that's in Delhi, in Delhi.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
We are in
so in
Mumbai.
Delhi, yeah, so Delhi Comic Con is also around the corner, and I'll make sure to visit it. And I usually go there. I've been to Comic Con dressed as Two-Face once. Then I once went as Ghost Rider, like painted skull on my face and everything. So it's sort of fun. Yes, I
Yeah,
absolutely enjoy going to Comic Cons.
that's great.
Yeah, so you said, like, you like investing in comic books, right? So that is also question of some few artists. Like they say, do we need to buy the books, or we can just go through video courses, or like learn from there? So what do you think about that? Should we invest in books and comics and visual material which we can read, like experience reading it like in front of us, or like digitally is okay?
I mean, I think it's a personal preference. For me, I actually like the feel of, touching the page and, having that physical book in my hand. But yeah, I mean, the final goal for any sort of stimulation is to inspire you and to make you better at your work. So I think it doesn't really matter if it's a physical comic book or a digital copy or online courses, as long as it inspires you to become a better artist, as long as it helps you grow your skill set. I think it's a win-win situation. And I always make it a point that you should always invest on yourself. On yourself, I mean, your artwork, your skill set, because it always has a good return on investment for sure.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
So could you tell us about a bit about what softwares you are accustomed to using, or what you have used in the past, and what equipment do you use right now, for someone who's
Okay.
on the fence? Okay, what do I buy? What is necessary to learn?
Okay. Uh, I think I have a very basic setup as far as the machine is concerned. So I have a gaming laptop that can run 3D and 2D softwares. And apart from that, I think I have a very basic pen tablet that I bought I think, in 2010, and it's been working since then pretty well. And apart from this, I have an iPad with like an Apple Pencil, and it is also like good 5 6 years old. And so I usually use iPad whenever I'm traveling and I want to sketch something, create something digital while I'm on the move. And for my professional, artworks, and for my professional commitments, I usually use my uh, PC with my pen tablet. And the softwares that I use are, I majorly work on Photoshop and Procreate. But other than that, I have a thorough knowledge of Illustrator, and I have an absolute knowledge of 3D production pipeline. I am very thorough with 3ds Max, Maya, Blender. Not really, I mean, in working sort of terms, but I do realize how the entire process works. What are the stages involved? And so yeah, that is pretty much it. But yeah, my major working softwares are Photoshop and Procreate.
So do you sometimes use like those? I have seen people use the 3D, um, some objects, or even just the boxes for perspective and all for the backgrounds. So do you still use that sometimes, the 3D
Well,
stuff?
I mean, in concept art, that is being done nowadays. They're like,
Mhm.
it's called 3D mesh blocking is done in the Blender or some similar 3D software. That basically gives an idea of how the background is going to be, and then you can place your because that actually helps in composition and setting the the basic lighting setup.
Mhm.
Right. So that is really helpful. There are a lot of people who are doing it, but there are a lot of people who are also not doing it.
Yeah.
But I always say, that industry is upgrading every day, and skill sets are upgrading every day. And if something actually helps you, helps you do your work faster and more efficiently, and makes your artwork look better, I think one should actually not hesitate in learning that skill set. So, I mean, I use, for example, in certain artworks, what I've done is that I've created the character for the foreground, and for the background, I've taken a 3D setup and sort of blurred it, add some light to it, and yeah, I mean, this is also being done these days.
That's interesting to know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying to learn some 3D software, so it can aid in some, at least the background work and
It will be
perspective.
really helpful. It will be really
Yeah.
helpful because even in character art that you create, not just the the backgrounds, even in character art that you create, you might need some sort of a splash background, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not very detailed, but yeah, the lighting and everything has to be appropriate. So I mean, yeah, it will for sure it will help you.
Yeah. Great.
Right.
Yeah.
And a little, like, we'll go a little behind in the timeline, and I would like to know what was your, job experience like from the beginning when you just did your animation course for 3 years, and then till now, like, what has it been like? What is your experience?
I think it's been good 10 years since then.
Okay.
And my initial job that I started was in concept art, but it was sort of a visualization job where I had to visualize 2D animated videos, create storyboards for them, and create character designs for them. It was a studio in Hoskas in Delhi. And I think it was a really nice experience. And uh, I mean, getting that first job was really difficult though, because when you're fresh out of the college, your skill set is not at par with the industry veterans. So at that time, you really want some sort of startups or some sort of small firms who are hiring the freshers. But at the same time, you have to realize that it is a very crucial time just after the graduation, because uh, what happens is that a lot of people get demoralized because they don't get the instant jobs. And because everyone learns at their own pace. And one might not be really good at their skill set just in the college and might need to give another year to improve their work maybe. But a lot of people just give up on their dream, and uh, just because they are not getting the job immediately. But I feel that if you keep working on your skill set and you keep grinding, I'm sure that you'll certainly get the job. And that was the thing for me as well. It took me a while to get the job, but I eventually got it. And ever since then I've been working. I've worked with different industries. I've worked with production houses. I have worked with education ed tech companies. I have worked with casino game making firms. I've worked with comic firms. So yeah, it has been a very different working environment in all of those companies. But yes, I've always thoroughly enjoyed my work. And I mean, I live by this belief that that the more you work, the harder you work, the luckier you get. Because there's this saying, this is called butterfly effect. That if a butterfly flaps its wings in Singapore, there's a a cyclone coming in US. There's some that sort of a theory. So when you create something and when you put it out, when you display it, when you advertise it, when you market it, it certainly gives some vibrations out, and it makes some things happen which will eventually come back to you. So just make sure to keep working, keep grinding, don't get into comfort zone. And I've seen people in this industry, after they've got jobs, after a while they're like, I don't need to grow now. I'm quite comfortable with where I am. But comfort zone is a very dark place and nothing really grows there. So yeah, I mean, keep grinding. That is my motto. Keep grinding,
The
keep
nine
improving, keep
the
getting
nine
better
to
at it.
five makes you go into the comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 9 to 5 gets me. But to be very honest, I think I've never gotten into that comfort zone, because in my initial years, I wanted to get better at my art. So I used to do the 9 to 5, and after that, after coming home at like 10, I used to do 10 to 12 on my practice as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So that
But
So
was
if
that
it's
very
builds
work,
portfolio much more.
yeah.
yes.
No, from work from home jobs, it's hard to manage timeline that way, like 9 to 5 and that
Yeah,
10 to
that is
12.
there.
It
So
gets
in
just
work,
messed up.
yeah. In work from home, you have to since you're continuously stimulated by a lot of things happening in the house as well. So, but yeah, I've made it a point. So this is like my room, and I've got I've gotten it covered entirely in a way that I don't really get the outside noises much. So, and I tell my my family that when I'm working, do not disturb me for the next 3 hours. After the next 3 hours, I'll come back. I'll come out of my room. You tell me whatever I have to do, and probably I'll chill for a while and then come back to it. And then again tell them that I'm getting down to work now, and please try and not disturb me again. So yeah, I mean, I've been doing it for like since 2019 now. So I think even my family has gotten used to it.
So
That's a
right now
good
you're,
tip for like setting boundaries with family.
yeah.
Absolutely. I set boundaries with everyone.
Okay, so Anush, I would
Sure.
like to know how is your, job situation now? Like what, since you said that you are working from home, how do you manage your schedule?
Um, uh, so I am an early riser, to be very honest. I wake up at like 7, 8, and after like doing the morning chores and everything, I start my work at around 9:30 at 10, and then I work for like 2 and a half hours, and then I take a break for like half an hour or 1 hour. I have my lunch and do like chill for a while, and then I get down to working again for another 2.5, 3 hours. So I think I do this in like 2 to 3 shifts, and throughout the day, I think my total working hours amount to near about say 6 to 8 hours on an average basis. And I do this on a Monday to Friday basis, and over the weekends I do not work at all. Over the weekends, I mean, now that it's been some time working in this industry, earlier on the weekends I used to work on my skill set. Even now I do, but not very regularly. Like things have even I have come to my comfort zone, I think, to some extent. But yeah, over the weekends I chill, I hang out with my friends, I have a good time with my family, and yeah, I also find time to work out during the day, and because I think it is very important to keep you motivated if you're working from home, because if you're working by yourself and there's no one to really monitor you, it becomes a little difficult to keep the motivation uh, up and running to work every day by yourself. So I think working out actually helps you keep that discipline, and obviously makes you feel good about yourself as well. So yeah, my day usually revolves around working out, chilling a while, and yeah, that's pretty much about it.
So how much of your time do you, dedicate to client work and how much for your personal work? Since a lot of people have this, like, we got into drawing and, animation and concept design because we had that thing in our head that we want to create something for ourselves, or even for portfolio. Since portfolio you can put like little bit of client work, but you have to show more of your personality. So
Yeah.
how do you manage time for that, like your portfolio building?
So I mean, for official and professional work, I dedicate around good 8 to 9 hours in a day. And for my personal thing, I think it's not very difficult to find at least an hour, at least every day, to work on your craft. And like 1 hour every day amounts to like 365 hours in a year. So I think in art, the improvement and the skill set works like money. It compounds over time in such a way that that the initial grinding might not appear to result in something very fruitful, but when it happens for a longer period of time, you see gradual improvement.
Right. And for people listening right now who want to dive into concept art, what do you think they should prepare for, for job hunting? Like, since they are beginners, what do you think they need to have in their portfolio?
First of all, I think one must be very clear about the fact that what one actually enjoys doing, because that is very
Right.
important, right? Because if you what we the mistake that one tends to make is that we decide what we want to do by looking at the scope of it, right? Like
Yeah.
what is in these days? Like, is it character designs, or is it background designs, or is it like vehicle designs or prop art, or what is in these days, and I will create my portfolio around it? No, you have to realize that you have to be very careful while selecting what you want to do, because you have to enjoy what you're doing. Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, you will not be able to do it for a longer period of time. And if you're not able to do it for a longer period of time, there is just no point being successful in it. Or I mean, there's just no way one can be successful in it unless and until you grind for a really long period of time in the same domain. That is
True.
the mantra for success, I feel. Consistency has to be there. So I think for consistency, you have to know what you love to do. For example, me talking about myself, I have always been very thorough that I wanted to work with characters because I love drawing human anatomy and experimenting with anatomy in creatures and animals and everything. So like almost all of my work revolves around organic creatures, and it has very less backgrounds, but more of like organic stuff like superheroes and creatures and animals and male, female body anatomy and everything. So I was always sure that I wanted to do that only. And if you're actually good at what you do, I think you'll eventually find people who would want to pay you for your work. So I
Yeah,
think
that's a
that is
great
very
point.
important.
Like, yeah, saying like because people always ask you like what is trending and all, where can I get more work, more
Yeah.
Yeah.
money or something like that. But in
See,
practicality, it's better to choose like what field you can work longer in, like you said.
exactly. So, like there was this Indian movie called Lakshya, and Amitabh tells Hrithik Roshan that even if you want to be a grass cutter, be the best grass cutter in the world, right?
Mm.
So, when you actually know what you enjoy doing, the motivation will itself come for you want to excel at it and you want to be the best at it.
Yeah.
And especially in the art field, I feel, um, you know, like say you're working in a bank, then doing like a, 9 to 5 monotonous job, even if you don't like it. I know a lot of people who, don't like their jobs necessarily, but they just go and come back. But that's the kind of job that is a bit easier to do. But when it comes to art, then, and if you don't like it, some aspect of it, then it becomes a really bad grind. So yeah,
It becomes a bad grind, and it also shows in your art that the artist
yeah,
did not actually enjoy creating that.
yeah, absolutely.
It clearly shows in the art.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
especially when there is tight deadline and they just want output
Yes, absolutely,
rather than like
absolutely,
creativity.
Yeah,
absolutely. But one can easily tell by looking at an artwork if it was done on a very tight deadline.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So
you want to
yeah,
go?
I wanted to
Sure,
ask
sure,
him a few questions.
sure.
So like you said, anatomy, you work on like male, female. So is there any resource you use to study anatomy specifically? Because I can see like your anatomy is like structured anatomy, not like the loose one, which we draw directly. So how did you learn that? Like the muscle and all the structured anatomy.
For muscles and structured anatomy, I think uh, there was this tutorial by Aaron Glaze. about human anatomy. I think that was
Mm.
very helpful for me. And after that, some resources by Hardy Fowler and Patrick Brown actually, worked as a cherry on the cake after that. And but yes, it's more like in anatomy, it's not like that you learn something and it will stay with you. With anatomy, you have to consistently draw something and to the point that it becomes your muscle memory, right? Because initially when you start drawing muscles, you look at the reference and then you know, okay, this muscle is going from here and this muscle will connect here and this is how the anatomy will look, right? But you have to do it, I think, about 100 times, to the point that you don't have to think about it and becomes your muscle memory, that okay, this muscle will go from here, this muscle will go from here, and poses you can decide and you will realize that okay, in this pose, this is how the muscle is going to look, this is everything. So in initial phases, it takes time by looking at references and drawing in live human studies, and taking as many references and different angles of postures and anatomy and muscles. But now I'm at this point that it has actually become my muscle memory, and I don't really have to think much about it.
Muscle memory to draw muscles.
That's great.
Also,
Yes.
like, did you watch like YouTube videos for that, or did you like watch courses or buy courses for those
I I
artists you
watch
mentioned?
I watch anything and everything. I
Oh.
haven't decided any particular zone for it. I take knowledge from anywhere and everywhere I can.
No, but the like the particular artist, because some people are hesitant, like should we buy this artist course or not? Like
Like
Aaron
you
Blaze and
mentioned,
all, they
Aaron
put
plays
out
it.
their courses. Patrick Brown. So are they putting YouTube videos specifically for those topic, or are they providing courses also, which Indian artists can afford?
I think let me tell you about Aaron Blaze first. In Aaron Blaze artwork, the course is about, I think, $40 to $50. But I bought it, I think, way back in 2015 or 16. And
Mm.
that cost me just $1 because I bought it on some Christmas festivity, and some discount was going there. And so, I mean, yeah, there are a lot of costly courses out there, but I think if you actually know how to research and you know how to basically mix and match different resources, I think YouTube is a very amazing platform for beginners. But obviously, if you want to, after a point, you want to go beyond a certain level of skill set, I think having a mentorship or having a person with a particular course, say Aaron Blaze, Patrick Brown, Hardy Fowler, that certainly helps. But I think for initial thing, when you really want to explore and you're trying to see what you really like to draw, and you're just exploring, you're experimenting, you've recently started it, so I think for that, YouTube is a very nice resource. And once you've figured out what you actually want to do in that particular field or in particular domain, after that you see who are all the veterans in that particular domain, and you see which artworks do you resonate with most, and you take the courses from those artists.
Yeah, that's great tip actually, to look out for like discount, seasonal, what festive
Yeah.
discounts.
Yeah, it's always happening. Halloween discounts are there, Easter egg discounts are there, then Christmas discounts are there. There are a lot of discounts on 4th of July. So there's a lot
Mm,
of discounts. You just have to keep an eye open for that.
Yeah.
yeah. Also, like you now mentioned, like mentor. So, do you have a in-person mentor? Like here, it's not exactly US,
Uh,
but like any senior or anyone who you can take free feedback from.
I actually have my best friend. His name is Amit Sharma, and we met in a company only, I think in 2018-19. and he's around say 6 years senior to me in terms of art industry, and he has a very keen eye of looking at the details and the problems in that artwork. So whenever I want to have a critical look at my artwork, I send my artwork to him, and he will just tell me that you've done this wrong here, this could have been better, this could have looked way better, this color could have been something else. So for a mentor, I think Amit works for me for sure. But other than that, I don't have a other than Amit, I don't have a really senior mentor that who's actually guiding me. But yeah, I mean, I think all these people like Patrick Brown, Hardy Fowler, Aaron Glaze, they are no less than mentors to me. Even though I might not be, in direct touch with them, but all the videos and all the podcasts that they do, and yeah, so I think it helps a lot. Not on a
Yeah,
very
like in
personalized,
person.
yeah, not like
No,
in
I
person.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was asking because, like, sometimes some people are very hesitant to take in-person constructive feedback because they take it on their ego or like something like that, because they aren't sure how to approach someone because they are very critical of criticism, I guess. So, how do you feel about that? Like,
I think when I started working in this industry, even I was there also. Even I was very critical of my criticism. I did not used to like when someone used to comment on my artwork, because I used to think that what is wrong with this artwork? I've done it. I put in so much hard work in this, and I've put in all my knowledge in this. And how can someone come and just be so critical about this artwork that is not looking good, is not it's looking bad or whatever. But I think one needs to realize that one doesn't really know everything. And I think looking at those artworks, I think that the artworks that I created 10 years ago, and when I look at them now, I think the people who used to criticize my artwork were absolutely right. And it was my shortcoming if I was actually taking it on my ego. Because obviously the people who are actually who are the art directors and the team leaders, who are they're not there just for the just like uh, you know just like that. They have some industry experience. They have it in them that they can guide you on certain things and everything. So yeah, I think being able to take criticism is a very, very important part for being an artist. If you cannot take criticism, you won't ever be a good artist. Even now, I mean, it's been 10 years, but even at times now, I have problem taking criticism. So
Yeah, I mean, art
like,
is more like an emotional thing for artists. So it's
yes,
like,
yes, it is a very personal thing, and someone comments on it, it becomes a little difficult to take it.
hmm,
But yes, I think I'm learning every day to be more, accepting to criticism, and still learning, I'll say.
yeah,
especially with
sometimes, especially
like
like non-artist people, if they
yeah, yeah. No,
like,
like
if
It's okay, it's
non-artist
okay.
people
clients,
give
lot of
criticism.
clients you have, they are non-artists, and they'll be like, this should not be like this should not be like this. So now I'm kind of
Arey,
immune to criticism. Okay, it's
trust
okay.
me, I have seen sales guys telling me about the colors could have been better. Like the salespeople telling me that artwork could have been better, the anatomy is not right.
Yeah,
So I don't really have anything to say beyond that.
cannot really tell anything to them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so like uh, since you've been doing a lot of concept art, and recently this AI thing just kind of blew up, and uh, like most people predicted that um, it would affect the concept artist the most, because you type in a prompt and it will
Yeah.
generate a few images. And I think a lot of the images are also trained on concept art. So, can you tell us about like if that has affected the industry in any way, if that has affected your workflow in any way, or is it just not relevant?
Uh, uh, I mean, yes, it is a big threat to the art industry for sure. But I've read certain articles about it. I've watched certain videos about it. And for now, the AI artworks that are being created cannot be copyrighted,
Yeah.
right? So that is a big win for artists because, if you really want to be hired in a production house or in a gaming company, they want their assets and their characters and their concepts to be copyrighted, right? So even if one might use AI artworks in those concepts, only the changes made to that AI artwork can be copyrighted, not the entire artwork in itself.
Yeah.
Right. So that is a big win for the artists. And I mean, initially what happened was initially when people used to paint portraits and there were no cameras, right? So when cameras came into being, there are a lot of speculation, there that, the portrait artists will die of hunger, they won't get any work and everything, right? But camera eventually went on to become a different domain, and, the portraits that were being done
Yeah.
had their
Exactly.
own space. So even I feel with AI, I don't really think that it is something to be very afraid of. Rather, I'd say, you can use AI to actually enhance your artwork. I mean, to reference ideas and to get different references and ideas and inspiration. You can certainly use AI artworks for inspiration and, mix and match and do something with them for sure. But I mean, yes, AI is going to be there for now, I think, and it's not like that you can ignore it or anything like that. So I'd rather say that use it to your advantage, but it's not. I don't feel that there is anything like you have to be very scared or threatened that it will take away all your jobs. I don't think really anything of that sort is going to happen.
A lot of artists went into this, depressing cycle where when the AI
Yeah.
artworks it was just blowing up. Now I think about it, now it's like, it cannot do everything, and plus it cannot be creative. The person typing the prompt has to be creative with it. So when I
Absolutely,
when I look
absolutely.
at that, then it's like, most of the creative jobs are safe. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
So exactly, one has to be creative. The problem is with art industry, what I've seen is people are good technical people. They are good technicians. They are not creative,
Yeah.
right? One might know how to use the software well, but they are not creative.
Hmm.
Mm.
Absolutely.
So that is
Like
a
putting a
that is
new
a
perspective. Like I mean, as an
yes,
artist, we can
Yeah.
put something different and put a new perspective. Even though we are using reference, but we can put a different perspective of our own to that
exactly, exactly. So
artwork.
creativity will always be in demand. However, technical skill set might not be so much in demand in future. But I don't think anything can take place of creativity because I think human brain is very creative in its own way.
So like you're from Delhi, and I have heard like means mostly I have experience in Delhi. Artists work for very cheap rates, I would say. Uh, so what do you think about that? Like they work for very less amount of money. So is it like bringing down the industry standard or something like that? And also their work is very good, I would say, but they're working for very less.
See, I'll tell you one thing, Poonam, that there's a saying that whatever resource in a particular area is
Mm,
in abundance, the value of that resource eventually diminishes.
Yeah.
For
mm,
example, oil in the Middle Eastern countries is not very expensive, whereas water is. Similarly, in India, the thing is, we have such a huge population,
Hmm.
right? So eventually what happens is, if the population number is so large, the bracket of artists in that segment is also going to be larger, right? But the thing is, uh, there are a lot of artists in India, but there are not many good artists in India, right? It's not like I'm saying anyone is good or bad, but as far as the industry, at par industry skills are concerned, there are not many very artists out there. And I think as far as you're saying, you're working for very less money and everything. When if someone is mediocre at their work, right, and can be easily replaced,
Hmm.
they will certainly be exploited.
Right.
Definitely.
Replaced
Yeah, means
thing,
I
it's
have
hard.
seen, yeah, replace one because in Delhi the artists have same style of work. I guess that's why they are kind of replaceable. Because in Mumbai
It's
everyone at least has some different art styles or something, but mostly in Delhi I have seen they are working in children's books art style work. Means as
so
far as I have
yeah,
seen
exactly. So in the thing
that
in Delhi
commercial
is
style.
that, so most of the publication houses are in Delhi. There's a
Hmm.
lot of
Oh
publication
yeah,
houses
that's
in Delhi and
Yeah.
Noida and Daryaganj and
hmm.
Delhi cantonment
Hmm.
and everything, right? So there are a lot of publication houses, and there are a lot of publication houses. People are doing a lot of work for publication houses, and they're used to that sort of work only, and they are not really experimenting with anything new. So
Hmm.
when you get stuck to one style, one domain, you eventually become a part of the crowd and the herd, and
Mm.
you're not doing something extraordinary, then you are easily replaceable, and you will be exploited for sure.
Yeah, that part is important, I guess, the publishing industry part.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And whatever, how, like, even if you price it less, there's always going to be someone who is going to undercut you. They'll be pricing even lesser. So I think it just, oh, you get what you pay for. Like, if you're paying
Uh,
good money, you will
I
get
I
good art.
I get it, but I usually think it in a different manner, because I feel if you're really good at what you do,
Hmm.
I'm sure there are people out there who won't really understand the value of your work and will underpay you.
Yeah, yeah,
But there are also people out there who will respect your work, who will have the value of your work and will pay you what you deserve as well. I've
absolutely.
seen it with my own experience. It might take a while.
Mm,
You don't have to get very impatient with it, but eventually you will get the money and you'll get the clients for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
the impatience part comes with desperation for money, I would say.
Yeah.
Impatience becomes desperation, and yeah, I mean, short-term gain over long-term gain. So people are choosing short-term gain. So
Mm,
obviously, after the you've had the short-term gain, then you'll be after that. There's nothing beyond that, because the long-term gain will actually you'll have to work harder on your skill set. You'll have to put in time. You'll have to get out of your comfort zone. You'll have to put in extra hours after work. You'll have to skip a lot of friendly get-togethers with your friends and family, and you put those hours into work. You'll have to sacrifice a lot of things.
mm.
So I mean, yeah, everything comes into play.
Yeah, so going from that, are there any work horror stories you want to share? Some particular client or like job experience, which was like a
Uh,
nightmare to endure or something?
yeah, I think once I work with a client and a company, I won't really want to, tell you about it. But it was a horrific experience, because with that client slash company, uh, it was a mandatory thing to draw 20 characters a day. Not character designs, but like illustrations, like 20 characters a day and three backgrounds.
Is that
And
even
once
possible?
I'm telling you, so we used to draw, like we used to do as much as we could. And once what happened was, there was some people had fallen sick, and the project had to be delivered. And you won't believe it. I mean, I created around 45 characters in one day,
Oh
And
God.
My
I
God.
was consistently doing that for 1 week, and after a week, my finger muscles had actually become so weak and stressed that my fingers actually became like this, and
Oh
they
my.
were just not straightening out at all. So I had to take a 1 week off, and then I realized I think I'll probably die working here. So I just quit that place, that plant, and but yeah, it was a very scary and nightmarish experience.
My God.
It's not the same company you put in the group, Red Tent.
No, no, no. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That is the red tent. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes.
That HR messaged me as well. I said, yeah, I'll send portfolio.
They want me back as well. I've told them I'm not coming back.
Acha, yeah, you all have worked together, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
forgot
and
to
Poonam.
mention that in intro. Like
So,
Anush
Yeah,
interviewed me
yeah,
ah,
for my last job.
yeah,
He was a senior there.
yeah.
acha, so it was a remote situation, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, so Anush, we are doing this new section just to have some fun with the people who come on here or and you know so we are doing a small rapid fire questions. So I'll ask you like uh, give you two options and you have to choose. So about 9 to 10 questions maybe. So yeah,
Sure.
you ready for it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So first one is Marvel or DC?
DC.
DC. Digital or traditional?
Traditional.
Chai or coffee?
Coffee.
Uh, Concept art projects or comic book projects?
Concept art.
Dating an artist versus
Unexpected answer.
dating a non-artist?
Sorry?
Dating an artist or versus dating a non-artist?
Dating an artist, any.
Oh, that's new. Okay, morning
Yeah.
bird or
Yeah.
night?
Can you explore on that? थोड़ा
Yeah,
अरे
explore
Yes.
करो
rapid
मेरे क्वेश्चन.
yeah,
तो क्या
rapid fire.
थोड़ा insight भी मिलना चाहिए लोगों को.
sure, sure. I had a lot of questions, why DC? Why,
Yeah, वही मैं बोल रही हूँ कि
why?
explain तो करने दे.
Yeah,
uh,
Yeah, like 1-2
so,
line में explain करना rapid answer का जो
yeah,
answer रहेगा.
yeah.
ठीक है. So, DC because it's darker and it's
Hmm.
intense.
Ah,
That is why DC.
yeah,
And coffee because it has a lot of it has higher caffeine content than chai,
yeah.
and
Traditional, digital.
traditional because I love the feel of pencil on paper. Nothing can beat that.
Hmm.
And dating an artist or a non-artist, I think dating an artist is really amazing because the entire thing gets creative in a lot of ways.
Also
Yeah,
like concept art project, comic project.
I think concept art projects because I like exploring, doing the character designs, and it takes a lot of time to put come up with one single character concept. So I think I have a slight inclination towards creating new character concepts.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that also like people don't understand. Like comic is a full page and many panels, but concept art is one work, but they both take same time kind of like
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, that's the same thing. So I mean, those are like entirely different things. In comics, the characters are already decided. The script is there. You just have to illustrate. Whereas in character
Mm-hmm.
design, you are creating something from the scratch that doesn't really exist before, and it has to look aesthetic. It has to look appealing. So there are a lot of to's and fro's, do's and don'ts. There are a lot of undoes that have to be done in character design. So I think it takes more of a thinking process in character design and more of a muscle memory in comic creating.
couple more questions.
Next
This
one.
one we already know. So are you a morning bird or a night owl?
Oh, I am a morning person any day.
Yeah, you told that
Like
before.
from the start,
Yeah.
or have you?
I've always been yes, I've always been a morning person. With every morning I wake up like let's conquer.
I have a hypothesis, like people who are born at night are night owls, I guess. Were you born in morning?
I was born on a Sunday evening.
Oh.
Oh.
Maybe it's opposite. Then
Yes, maybe.
Yeah. So do you prefer working from home or working from the office?
Working from home
Okay.
because obviously both has its perks.
Hmm.
I mean, working from home, I can look after my parents, cater to their needs. And working from office has its perk because you get to meet a lot of people. It's a nice environment, socializing everything. It's important for every person.
Hmm.
So both the things have its own perks.
Yeah. And the last
Yeah.
one, working on a schedule or procrastinating till the deadline.
I never procrastinate. I get
Oh
anxiety if I procrastinate.
my.
The work is pending. If
you
Yeah,
the work is pending, I just cannot enjoy. I
that is
have to
very
be
true.
very clear in my mind that the work is done and then I can thoroughly enjoy. Otherwise, I'll die of anxiety.
Great, great.
So,
और एक रह गया others.
कौन सा?
Yeah.
Second last. Like, do you enjoy animated movies like video content more, or like reading a comic book?
Reading a comic book.
okay. So I want to, get it a little, open. So in comic book, how you decide what kind of comic book do you want to go for, or like do you consume manga as well, or is it just like you seek comics that are similar to your style to develop your style? Like what kind of liking?
I think all three things goes into, selecting the kind of comic book that I want to go for. I've consumed manga as well. And but the comic that I actually want to go for is there has to be a very nice balance between the story, the artwork, and the action.
Okay.
Right. It has to have all three things in just the right content. Like a lot of action without any story just doesn't make sense. And a very, really nice story without any action just doesn't make sense for me. So it has to be
Oppenheimer,
nice
basically.
story, nice action, and when it is combined with nice artwork, I think is the perfect comic book for me.
So what would be your recommendation? Like what are the comic books that you like so much that they have all of these things?
Um, I think there's this comic book called uh, Crisis. I think I'm forgetting the name. Let me have a look at it. What's the name?
Sure, sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think the most favorite comic that I have ever read is Final Crisis by DC.
Okay.
The writing is perfect, the artwork is magnificent, the action is amazing, and the entire concept of having multiverses and everything, oh, it's mind blowing.
That's
Do you
great.
think
Yeah.
DC in like the movie part they could be doing better? I think they're not
So
doing
I think
justice.
in movie part, DC is actually lacking with maintaining the consistency of the people who are playing certain characters.
True, true.
I think DC has not been able to crack that, and I think Marvel has an advantage over that because Marvel, throughout their franchise, have the same actors doing those similar roles because people can actually
Mhm.
connect with them. Whereas with DC, they are having different, actors doing the same character in every different movie, and people are getting confused, can't really relate to it.
Yeah,
There has
there's
to be
like
some sort
three
of
Batmans
relatability.
now already.
Batmans, and now I've heard that the Superman guy. Sorry, what's his name?
Yeah, Henry Cavill.
Robert?
Henry Cavill.
नहीं.
I've
Oh,
heard
हाँ.
Henry Cavill is not doing Superman anymore,
That is very heartbreaking. Like he was the perfect Superman.
and that too after having his cameo in Black Adam at the end.
Oh my God.
So at the end of Black Adam, Superman has a cameo whereas Superman tells Black Adam to go back to his own city and not be in Gotham or Metropolis. When Black Adam says that I don't really listen to anyone except myself, and then there's some sort of tension between them, and the movie ends. And now they're saying Henry Cavill is not there.
That is sad.
That is disappointing.
True, true.
Okay, right. So Anush, thank you so much for so much insightful information, especially on like how you should build your portfolio and what kind of things you should do to like become a comic artist. Sorry, concept artist. And I would also like to ask you, what are your future goals? Like, where do you see yourself? How are you going ahead?
Vibha, I think for my future goals, I am very certain. I have a plan for my life, and that plan includes, achieving financial independence by the age of 40 or 45. And with that financial independence, I have a plan that, when a certain amount of money that I need for my expenses starts pouring in through my investments, what I'll do is I want to create my own comic characters, probably get them motionized and something of that sort. Like I want to build my own, sort of universe.
Right.
Sounds
So
amazing.
yeah. So, but in
We
the
can
near
collab
future, I think
together for that.
absolutely. So for the next 10 years, I think I'll still be working on achieving that financial independence, where 9 to 5 hustling won't be required anymore. And I can put that time to, I mean, 9 to 5 hustling will be there, but for my own stuff.
That's a
Right.
great
So
goal
do
plan.
you write as well, like for comic? Are you creating something?
Right now, I'm not really creating anything. I mean, I have some concepts in my mind, and but it's very blurred right now. But
Mhm.
yes, once I get down to it, I think it'll be more clearer. But yeah, I mean, it's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
Great.
But it is 10 years to go.
Yes,
It goes
absolutely.
by so fast, though.
10 years,
Like,
yes.
yeah, I was, last question I want to ask, like, do you have, miss, you want to publish your own stuff, then do you have any idea, like, how one can go about it, to publish their own stories, or how to approach publishers, something like that? Have you researched about it?
I have researched a little about, e-publishing on
Mm-hmm.
Kindle. So there are a lot of YouTube videos out there, tutorials out there, which actually tells you how to e-publish your book. Right. So e-publishing is there, but then again, with self e-publishing, the constraint lies is that a lot of marketing is actually
Yeah,
required if you really
marketing.
want
Yeah.
to make your product be visible out there. So Arnold Schwarzenegger has this really amazing saying. He says, "Early to bed and early to rise, work like hell and advertise." Right. So
I was
I
thinking
mean.
where it's going.
Yeah, so it says that no matter how good you're at your work, no matter how much work you do, if you do not advertise it, if you do not market it, people won't get to know about you. And to make your presence felt out there, it is very important. As much as creating good artwork is important, marketing that artwork is equally important, or I'll say even it's more important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, artwork as well as the artist, I would say, because if you are a brand, your name is a brand, then also people will like come. It will
I
be
agree.
like,
And I also
mm,
feel, if you're really good at your artwork and your artwork speaks for you, looking at an artwork, one can actually tell that, Anush or Poonam or Adarsh and Vibha have drawn this artwork. So, it becomes a brand identity in itself. So, yeah, I mean, if you look at Frank Cho and, there's a lot of Frank Cho and then Patrick Brown, and you can just look at their artworks and tell it's their artworks. So it becomes a
mm,
brand identity in itself. Even if you're not, coming out in front of the camera by yourself, your artwork speaks for you. So, I mean, yeah, even for e-publishing, I mean, even you have to go to published authors like who are well established and everything, and you can work out the marketing and everything for your product. Or while doing your, regular professional work, you can sort of create a side hustle on like Instagram or
Mm.
DeviantArt or ArtStation, sort of build like a fan following. And when eventually 5, 10 years down the line, you want to create your own product, you'll have a audience waiting to have that product.
Yeah,
That's
like you also put your content creation videos, like your drawing in cafe and all. So do you think content creation is also a tough job to market yourself as an artist on Instagram by shooting your own videos and like putting yourself as a brand?
I think people are not really concerned with how good you are at your artwork unless and until it's giving some value to them.
Mm.
Like either it's motivating them, either or it's uh, entertaining them. So I try to make my videos in a way that it's entertaining, it gives you information, and it's sort of fun. So I tried and incorporate all those emotions in my videos, and that is the idea behind it.
Yeah, but like, is it like more exhausting to put yourself in the video as a brand rather than just putting your artwork?
Yeah, because a lot of
Uh,
artists have this fear, okay, like I don't want to
yeah,
be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
that I think that's a very personal choice for everyone. I feel
mm,
some people are very camera friendly, some people are not. But I feel that once you have your brand value, once you have a brand established with yourself, with your work, I think eventually you'll have to be camera friendly. So why not try it now?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why we started the podcast.
Yes, it is a very good thing.
Yeah, it is a
Yeah.
Thank
thing for
you.
artists where they
Yeah.
they don't market themselves. They'll be like they'll make the best art, but
Mm.
they have no idea about marketing and
I
all.
agree. So
Yeah.
I always do one thing. If it took me 2 days to create an artwork, I'll put an entire day to market that artwork on all
Oh.
platforms out there.
Mm-hmm. That's a
So
good
what
strategy. Like
platforms are
you
you on
can
right now?
keep.
I'm on every platform. I'm on DeviantArt, I'm on Behance, I'm on ArtStation, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Threads, I'm on Twitter, I'm on I think every platform out there which is dedicated to art.
That's great. So
So that's why I say it takes me one entire day to get my
yeah, it's one
artwork
entire
on
day
all
to
these
just
platforms.
post on all these platforms. My God.
Yes, yes, yes.
I have to get
Yeah, but
exhausted with
it's a nice
Instagram alone.
strategy.
Sorry?
Like it's a nice strategy to keep one day to just post on different
Yeah,
platforms
Yeah,
and
because
like
obviously
the
you
marketing
get
stuff.
you get some relaxation time as well
Mm.
from the artwork. You don't get burnt out. So it's good.
I guess this is a good place to stop. We have had,
Okay.
I have had a really fun time, chatting with you,
Yeah,
listening
we
your
Yeah, like we
experiences.
want to know more, but
Yeah,
exactly, we are time constrained, so like we just
yeah.
have
No
to.
worries, no worries. I think we can have another podcast sometime.
Sure, sure. We'd love to
Absolutely,
have
yeah,
we
a
you
love
bit
again
to.
more
someday.
detailed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sure, sure, absolutely.
yeah. We could talk about some other topics too, and just have you here, and we'd love to have you
Yeah.
again. And I hope that whatever dreams you have of having your own comic book and you know I would love to see that happen, and hoping the best for you and for the listeners. We'll be posting the links for Anush's or all of the social media and his portfolio and stuff, so you all can go check out his work. And yeah, it's been really great having you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was really fun with you guys as well.